What is up, everybody? We're back, but I'm not going to do a tutorial today. Switching it up, and I just want to talk to you guys about what I wish I would have known whenever I first started doing audio production, specifically mixing into DAW for clients, for myself, for my church, whatever it is, because there's a lot of plugins out there. There's a lot of people telling you, do this, do that, buy this, buy that. Like the whole plugin economy is like insane. There are so many companies and there's so many good ones out there. Like it's not even that like a lot of them are bad. They're all really, really good, but it's like this plugin does that and the marketing of this and that. And so I just want to speak to you guys on what I wish I would have known and the things that I wish I would have bought and things, I wish I would have not bought, if that makes sense. I'm not going to go into every single detail, but, just depending on what you guys want to do, you don't have to have every plugin. You definitely only need legitimately, you only need 10 good plugins that you know how to use well and that you use over and over and over again. And so this is, if I had to go back, or basically this is what happened to me. So basically if you're in this position to where you're kind of new to mixing and recording and editing and all this stuff, and you're getting blasted by all these software companies for plugins and stuff, or if you're just overwhelmed, like you're like me, this is what happened to me. I was probably about 5 years in and I had bought so many plugins, thousands of dollars worth of plugins, and I didn't know how to use half of them, maybe even more than that. And not to mention, I didn't even use it, over half of them. I didn't know how to use them, and I didn't even use them. I didn't even try to use them because I was so overwhelmed by how many that I had. So what I wish I would have done is just learn how to use the stock plugins really, really well, and then moved on to the next one and next one. But I didn't do that because I fell into the marketing of this plugin is going to fix your mixes, and that's just not. That's not a thing. No plugin can fix your mixes. The only way that will fix your mixes is if you get better at mixing. That's period. That's it. You can buy as many cool little trick plugins as you want, and it might get a little bit better, but your mix is still gonna probably suck. Not trying to be mean, just trying to be real. So here's what I would do. I would sit back, number one, and I would buy some sort of mixing course that from someone trusted, someone you like. I am going to come out with one soon, so jump on the email list to make sure you know that. Shameless plug, a little bit of shame, but no, it's fine. But yeah, buy something where you really vibe with that person, with that teacher, and you like how they teach. You like the style of music that you want to mix. That's number one. The only way you get better is if you learn how to listen better. And to me, to how I got better at listening and understanding how audio even functions is by watching these pros mix. And I would watch them EQ, and I would be like, oh, he needs to pull out 2.5 here. And he would not do that. He would do something else. And I'd be like, oh, holy crap. Okay. Now I'm hearing what he's hearing. And so that's number one. Number two, practice. Okay. You only get better by getting better and by actually putting in the reps. Okay. So it's like going to the gym, you can't build more muscle and lift more and do better at the workouts if you don't go week in and week out. So you guys just have to practice mixing. You have to get some multi-tracks. You have to maybe just record your church every Sunday and mix it every, throughout the week. And you don't have to release it or show it to anybody. You just need to do it every week just to get better. You need to hear stuff and EQ it and then compare and contrast, 3 months later, compare the mix you did to 3 months ago. It's actually pretty funny how a couple of years ago, my mixes, I'm not happy with those. They're not bad, but I'm not happy with them. But that's a good thing because that means I've progressed, and that's what you want. Okay. And then last thing is dumb down your plugin list. For me, I have now spent enough time to where there's a lot of plugins that I do use and I know what they do and I know when to use them, but it takes a while to get there. And for me, there's been 2 times I've had to literally delete every single plugin off my computer because I was so overwhelmed, and I would go into just complete overwhelm and then not do anything. And so if you're like that, do this. So wipe all the plugins off your list. And this is what I would do. I would buy or only put on the essential plugins that I think I need. So if I were a beginner, this is what I would do if I were a beginner, because back when I started, they didn't have these, is I would actually buy one of those subscriptions to Waves or SSL, Slate, or Plugin Alliance. I am partial to the ones at Waves because I've been using those plugins for a long time, and I think they're an awesome company. And I think that the plugins sound really, really good. And so, like, I actually have a subscription because it just makes sense for me to do that. And I would just pick 10 plugins at a time from the subscription and dive into those for like 3 months or something and just learn how to use them. And so, and then once you kind of get to know how to use them, you can even tell if you like them or not, and then invite 5 more plugins, 10 more plugins in, and just keep doing that until you're really comfortable. And so it takes some discipline. And then the best thing about doing it with a subscription service is that you don't have to buy any of these plugins. You don't have to commit. You can literally spend 2 to 3 months learning it, how it sounds on this instrument or that instrument, or you're like, oh, this sounds good for this one particular scenario, and so I do want to have this. And then later down the line, if you want to buy them, you can. I've actually reverted to just doing a subscription model with Waves, and it works for me. Like, because I know that they're going to come out with 3 or 4 plugins every year. I'm probably going to buy 1 or 2 of them, so why not just jump on the subscription? And I don't know. Makes more sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to you, it makes more sense for you to just buy it. Just buy it. Do whatever you want. And then I would buy 2 more essential plugins. So for me, this whole channel is about mixing worship music, right? Mixing live worship music. And so drum triggers for me are a no-brainer. Like, I feel like you have to have them if you want to have a modern sounding worship mix. And not necessarily you have to have them, but it's more so of one of those things that I want to get to the end result quicker, and I don't want to spend all day tweaking the drums. So I would rather sample blend rather than sit there and tweak all day and do tons of parallel compression and blah, 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 blah. So Trigger 2 is my favorite plugin for that. There are a couple of other drum trigger plugins, but I love Steven Slate's Trigger. It works great. There's a couple of bugs here and there. You know what I mean? There's bugs in everything that you use software wise, but Steven Slate's Trigger is awesome. And there's so many good drum samples you can buy out there that are fairly priced. And yeah. And then the other thing would be Melodyne or some type of tuning software. But my personal favorite is Melodyne because, again, I focus on post-production. I don't really focus on like the live streaming stuff. So Melodyne. So plugin subscription, Trigger, and Melodyne for vocal tuning, because you need a good software to tune vocals to limit those distractions, because not everyone's going to be perfect in that live environment. And you can't expect them to either. And in my opinion, Melodyne has been the best when it comes to fixing vocals in a live environment with bleed and with all sorts of other stuff going on. It still performs super well. And then once you do that, once you kind of master those three things, doing those few, EQ plugins, reverb plugins, compressors, Trigger, and Melodyne, then you can kind of start expanding into what other plugins that you ever want to use, and you can start demoing other plugins from other companies that aren't in the subscription, and you can start to expand but not be overwhelmed every time you do it. Because once you get overwhelmed, then you just stop working and you kind of forget why you were doing it, and that's not okay. Because for me, it's like we're doing this for the Lord. We're doing this so that His kingdom can be spread, and that His name can be heard by everybody. So when I decide to put myself into overwhelm, because it ultimately is a choice, right? That inhibits me from spreading His name, that I'm not doing what He asked me to do. And that sucks, right? And it's okay. Like, we're not perfect or anything like that. But once you recognize that, then you can fix it and you can move on and do what you're supposed to do. So I hope this helped. I know this was a different video. I just felt like I needed to talk about this. I feel like, especially around this time of year, whenever there's plugin sales like left and right, and it's not to mention it's a good time to buy plugins that maybe you should get, but there's also a lot of marketing and hype around it about what you need and what you want. And a lot of it's nothing. Like you can get a great mix with 10 plugins, couple channel strips, couple compressors, a couple of reverbs and delays, and some saturation software, and you can have a killer mix every single time. Because again, going back to number one, your knowledge of mixing is way more important than the plugins that you use. So, but you also want to have good plugins because that will close the gap on how fast you're mixing, because a good plugin will actually help you mix faster. And so all three elements are super important. Okay. So just to recap, 1, get the information, learn the knowledge of how to mix, understand how these pros are doing it. 2, oh my gosh, I just blanked on what 2 is. That's terrible. Repetition. So you need to practice. Just like anything else, it's a skill. Okay. Like no one gets good at something in 2 weeks or even 3 or 4 months. Like for me, it took me 3 to 4 years to even really feel anywhere confident about mixing. Okay. And then number 3 is to simplify your plugin list and then grow gradually on what you actually need and what's actually going to provide that good mix. And don't overwhelm yourself, because this is supposed to be a fun thing. You know, it's like mixing and mastering and working on music is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. And whenever we add too much or do too much, we kind of take the fun out of it, and that's not okay. So just last thing, you know, down below, I have the 5-part framework to making professional sounding live worship recordings. Check that out if you have not checked that out yet. Absolutely free, no cost to you at all. And I just want to remind you guys why we're doing this. Like, why are we creating music? We're creating music for the Lord and for the Lord alone. So love you guys. I hope you guys are having an incredible holiday season. And I'll be back next week with a tutorial, because we all need them. Like, we all want to grow and get better mixes. Yeah. See you guys.